So what we wanted to see using a very simple experiment was when people opened and closed their eyes, did oxygen actually promote more or less of these type of waves? So what we saw was that when you were awake and you had your eyes open, there seemed to be more of this certain type of pattern that we saw that's associated with being awake. But when you closed your eyes with the oxygen, we noticed that there was more of the type of wave associated with being kind of in that transition towards sleep. So depending whether or not you were awake or asleep, it seemed to be promoting activities associated to that particular type of state.
Okay. Cool.
But that being said, the amount of brain activity does not necessarily translate to a change in cognition or behavior. So I think that's the biggest caveat. It was a very much an exploratory research, just to kind of see whether or not changes were occurring. And so I think at the end of the day, we could say, yes, there's changes, but we need to find out what those changes look like and whether or not they're actually meaningful change. Mm-hmm. If you had healthy sleeping patterns, if you just took a quick nap, how pumping you full of oxygen would change sleep? Would you go into a deeper sleep? Would you have a more restful sleep? Would that change kind of the pattern of brain activities during sleep? And so I think what's really nice about all these research in general and kind of, I think what Branch Out tries to teach people who receive their grants is you end up having a set of questions, and this always leads to more questions and more explorations. And that kind of leads to even more questions. So you get into this really long cycle of finding answers, but having more questions and finding more answers, almost kind of like a brainwave, right? Your ups and downs. Hopefully that's probably not the best analogy, but I don't know. I'm trying to spin it to make it work.
So, I mean, I've been a full-time artist for about 13 years. He was diagnosed almost 7 years ago. And he's going to be 10 this year. He definitely inspires me. He's got such a beautiful brain. He's so smart. I guess too, even since I've had him, I had always been doing dots in my work, and now I do like multiple dots. Like this elephant has, I mean, probably about 100,000 tiny raised dots of paint. I don't know if you can see that. And I think they started multiplying too, I think because I was trying to teach myself patience and learn patience through his struggles too. I knew I needed to have that with him, so I think it came through in my art as well. Because some people would be like, "Are you crazy? Why would you do that many dots?" But I find it's almost like meditating for me. So when I start doing the dots, it's like teaching me that patience that I need to have for him. So yeah.
Well, that's an awesome story. Thanks for sharing.